The SPY and the triple Qs finally break to the upside. Now, how much further can we expect each of them to rise? We'll be covering that and more in today's video. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to High Quality Trades, where we go over simple support and resistance levels, trendline breaks, and pattern formations. And I give you the price targets of where price is headed in the coming days. So let's get into it. In today's video, we will be going over the most significant support and resistance levels on the SPY, the triple Qs, all of the fateful 8 mega cap stocks, Coinbase, Snowflake, and AFRM stock. So let's start this video off here on the SPY's 4-hour time frame. So today is February 13th, and the most recent close of the SPY was 609.73. Today it reached a high of 609.94 and a low of 603.20. We were positive 1% on the day. Alrighty guys, so what is the SPY currently doing? Well, after breaking our resistance trend line here, we ended up pushing up all the way towards 609.94, breaking above our previous all-time highs that we hit back in December 6th, 2024. So as long as the SPY can remain above this level, we can now expect the SPY to head up to this previous all-time high here around the 610.78 level. If the SPY is able to get above that, then we can expect the consolidation area, or say this price channel here, to get a full measured move, which puts us up here around 622. If I just map this out here, we extrapolate the distance between the two trend lines here, you can see how we can now expect that the SPY is going to reach up to this level in the coming weeks. Now usually when we break out of any flag pattern or just any pattern period, so we got a price channel here, so let's just call it a price channel. Since we've now broken out of this, we would first expect about half the measured move to be hit before a possible pullback or some consolidation before pushing on higher. So I'd say we're looking for the SPY to now hit the 615 level and then possibly get some consolidation before we push up to the 622 level. Now if this is some sort of fake out and the SPY cannot hold above the upper trend line here, then I'd be looking for the SPY to fall back down towards 602, but if that level breaks, the 599 level will be the next support level to trade down to. Now, let's go over how I traded the SPY today. Now dropping down into the 15-minute time frame. So we'll notice that the SPY was able to get back above its 200 period moving average, and then we pushed higher. I had my support and resistance lines all mapped out, so I basically knew, hey, if the SPY is above 602, then the next resistance level it's going to head up to is 609. So once we were able to get above this 200 period moving average, I ended up buying a call here, and then we pushed up towards the trend line here. And so when we were about at the 607 level, I actually sold my first call, and then we got the pullback, right? Because what I noticed on the RSI is we were overbought. The SPY at around 830 was pushing into the extreme overbought level. So once I noticed it attempting to run up to this trend line, I ended up selling out of my contract. We got this pullback later in the day, and then I ended up buying again off of when we wicked down here and then ended up pushing higher. Bought another call and I traded it up to the 609 level. So altogether I made a couple hundred on the SPY. I don't remember exactly what it was, but just off 2 calls was able to profit a couple $100. I didn't only trade the SPY today, I also traded the triple Qs and Snowflake, Stocko, and AMD. But so let's go on. That was the trade of the day, right? These two, and then I moved on. So we can move on here. Let's move on to the triple Qs. So the triple Qs ended up breaking its trend line early in the morning. And then we back tested it here and then pushed higher. So I actually had calls from yesterday on the triple Qs, and I shouldn't say calls. I held 1 call overnight on the triple Qs that expires on Friday. But it doesn't matter when it expires. I ended up selling it when it was hitting my price targets. So basically, when we got the pullback yesterday in this consolidation area, I ended up buying a call on the triple Qs and then had my stop loss here at 626. So if price had made it below this level yesterday, I would have sold out of my call. But considering we were hovering above, since that big drop yesterday actually too, and then we made it back above 626, I felt safe enough to buy a call and then figured the triple Qs was going to head up towards 533. So that was going to be my sell point if the triple Qs was going to make it up there like it did early today. So from buying it was like the 527 call, I wrote it up to 633, and then I immediately sold when we were hitting these levels here, which was pretty much a perfect sell. And then we ended up retracing back to 531. And after I saw this wick get bought up, I actually decided to buy another call at the 531 level and figured that we were going to come back up towards 533. So yeah, after a few candles there, it ended up peeking its head back above and testing these highs here. But when it was doing that, I noticed that the RSI was diverging. So we had this, these highs were the same. We actually had this bearish divergence forming. So I was thinking that we might get another retracement here and then we drop back down. So I ended up selling the call I bought here for another like $100 profit, and then I just left it at that. So those are my 2 trades on the triple Qs, one from yesterday and then the sell and then the rebuy here. So that was pretty cool. Got ahead of myself there. Let's go over the triple Qs here on the 4-hour time frame. So as we notice here, the triple Qs managed to break this descending trend line, and then we headed up all the way to 335. So if the triple Qs manages to remain above, even if we come back and maybe back test 533, I would be expecting it to come up towards this dotted line here, which was the previous high, about the previous high, which is right here at 537. Then if it's able to get above 537, I'd say we head up towards new all-time highs at 538. So that's best case scenario, and then we can continue on higher. Just like the price channel that the SPY was in, that's kind of giving us the direction, or how far that the triple Qs might head up to. Actually, this one is a little harder to see. Let's go to not the NDX, the NQ. So you see this price channel here a lot better on the NQ. Basically, all I'm doing is taking the distance between both the descending trend lines of the price channel, then moving it over towards the break. And this is showing us that the NQ is going to head up towards 22,941. So And then I would first be looking for these previous all-time highs to be taken out. So now that we've busted through here, I'm looking for the triple Qs to run up towards, well, this is the NQ, but 22,421 should be the next level. All right, head back to the triple Qs. Sorry if this is confusing. So say if we get any retracement tomorrow, and then we fall back down through maybe 533, the next support level will be here at 531. Then if we fell below that, it looks like we'd head all the way down towards 526. I'd say if we do get a pullback, I'd like to see this upper trend line here hold as support. Probably act as a good buying opportunity. As you noticed today, actually, we did wick down towards it, and then it held as support. So we'll go back on the 15-minute. This descending trend line here, after we broke up to 533, we retraced back and back tested that trend line and then headed higher. So actually, being with the retracement already, it's more likely the triple Qs heads up towards 537 tomorrow. Okay, let's move on to Apple, and then we'll just stick to the 4-hour time frames here and just go over the levels that we're seeing. So Apple got above the 240 resistance level, but it is going to encounter some resistance at this descending trend line. So if it moves up towards the 242 level, it may encounter resistance there, and then we drop back down to support, and then maybe do something like this to where we come up to the next resistance level of 243 before breaking it. Then we can head towards this high here, somewhere around the 248 level. That's the bullish scenario. But if Apple retraces tomorrow after hitting this trend line, because it looks like we should at least hit the trend line tomorrow. If it breaks through 240, it'll head down towards 237. So one thing to be aware of, and this is on a lot of stocks right now, we are coming into the overbought level. So it just means be a little cautious. I don't really get too worried until I'm seeing divergences in the oversold area, overbought level, I mean. And then also, it looks like our momentum wave still has room to run. I mean, we could come all the way up towards here with this momentum wave. So that could mean that the RSI is going to diverge before retracing at all. But we'll just have to wait and see on this one. Okay, let's go on to Facebook. Facebook's still ripping higher, but I did find a pattern here. So this is another rising wedge, and I think we see it better on the 1 hour. But so Meta looks to be in a rising wedge, and so if it does break either way, let's just go over the measured move. So let's just take this upper trend line down to this bottom one. If it breaks to the lower end, looks like 681. But if it breaks upwards, I mean, this could send Meta all the way up to this level here at 778. So that would be pretty cool if it actually breaks to the upside. So I mean, either way, at least we'll know which direction once it breaks out of this rising wedge. Okay, let's go back to the 4 hour. That's going to be it here on Meta. Let's move on to Amazon. Amazon looks like it got above the resistance of 229 today and it's holding. So if Amazon stays above 229, we'd be looking for it to come up towards the 235 level. But I would say it first needs to break above these highs here at 233 before it can reach up to that 235 level. And if Amazon ends up falling, though, if it can't hold this 229 level, we got this 225 right beneath us. So look for those two. I mean, I guess we do have a bullish divergence between the momentum waves here and slightly on the RSI with matching lows, I guess. and we have a low and a lower low right there. So not anything super strong. So that may contribute to a little push higher. Let's see what happens. Google. So Google, after bouncing off 185, it's heading up towards the 188 level. So if Google's able to get above 188, then we can head up towards the 193 level. It may encounter some resistance here at the 200 period moving average, but it looks like a pretty good shot up to that level. I would be wary of this high right here though at 190. So just watch out if it gets above 188. It needs to then break above 190 before it can head up towards 193. We are coming off some oversold levels, and it does look like we do have a bullish divergence here between these two lows. And then the lows on the RSI, we actually got a low and a higher low. So that probably contributed to this up move we got today, but that was kind of along with the rest of the market. Usually when I see these bullish divergences in the oversold territory, it kind of means that the RSI will head up towards overbought now. So look for the RSI to reach overbought here on the 4-hour time frame here on Google. Okay, let's move on to Microsoft. After bouncing off 405, it looks like we've headed up to 410, and then Microsoft is trying to get above that. So if it manages to break above 410, we do want to watch these highs here that that Microsoft will probably head up towards at 418. But then if it's able to get above 418, that 421 level is probably where it's headed. So look for that. Nothing too bullish on the RSI or momentum waves. So if for some reason Microsoft can't break above this 410 level, or just struggles when it's trying to break above, it may fall back down towards 405 or even 400. Okay, let's move on to NVDA. So we have this giant gap on the daily time frame that NVDA is trying to fill. And it seems to me like it's going to fill sooner than later. So if the rest of the market pushes higher tomorrow, maybe look for this gap to be filled. So if we can head up to this gap, we'll encounter some resistance at this lower trend line as well. So it seems to be a good amount of confluence in this area because it's a previous all-time high area as well. So if bullish momentum continues on NVIDIA, look for it to head up to 141. And then, it looks like it is hitting the 200 period here on the 4-hour. So if that remains as resistance, we could fall back down towards 129. But hopefully we get more bullish price action tomorrow. Okay, let's move on to Netflix. Netflix is almost reaching its price target from this bullish pennant that I mapped out last video or the video before that, I can't remember, but once it broke out of this, it was headed up towards 1046. So we're almost there, and that's where I'm looking for some possible resistance at this level. So you see Netflix up here, just be cautious. Moving on to Tesla. Now, Tesla was a pretty crazy one. I'll go over a little bit of a story here because actually 2 days ago, I ended up thinking that this 347 level was going to hold as support early in the morning. Let's go back 15 minutes. Let's go back 3 days. So yeah, and I was dumb enough to buy that first 15-minute candle when it wicked above. I had bought the 345 call for next Friday, and then it ended up just dropping down right after I bought it. So then I didn't know which way Tesla was gonna go. I was like, okay, well, it's breaking support, but is it really gonna break it, or is it gonna pop back up? So I had the call and ended up buying a short when it fell below the 347, and then I just had a short and a call. But as we thinking over the next like 45 minutes, I ended up thinking, for some reason, I was like, no, it's gonna go up. So I sold my put, and then Tesla just sunk so hard after. We got a deep dive. And so when we fell towards the 335 level, there was a gap fill at that area, I thought maybe Tesla would find support at that level. So I ended up buying another call, but this one then was a month out. This was for 30 days out. And I'm like, I ain't buying anymore, but this call, and then that's it. And then like all the while I'm watching the 4-hour time frame as well. Oh crap, let's get rid of that line. So in this, the RSI is just sinking deeper and deeper into the oversold territory, and the momentum wave also super oversold. So I'm just like, fuck it can't fall much more, can it? And I'm like tripping out, finding this level here. I'm like, okay, well, 226, it's got to find support at that level. And so I ended up having to close that day down like 1,500 in my account. And then lo and behold, we got this bounce after. And another theory I like to go over on this channel is when price gets too far away from this 200 period moving average, it always comes back to it. So as we kept falling throughout the day, I'm just like, oh, we're so far away from this 200. It's got to come back. It's got to come back. So after that happened, we ended the day super far from the 200, and then we just got another rip higher all day on Tuesday, I think it was, or Wednesday. And then once it got to the 200, that's when I ended up selling out of my contracts. We got this sell towards the end of the day, but man, so I ended up slightly up to pretty much just breaking even after this call was still down like $500 or something, but I had made it back with the 335 call as we got up towards 347. So pretty crazy. And then look, of course through today we push higher, and I could have held those contracts longer, but definitely was a sigh of relief to get that money back. Okay, I've been going over this story for a little too long here. Just crazy price action. So Tesla fell to the 326 level, and then we ended up finding support here, and we headed back up to resistance at 347, which we actually broke through today. Now it looks like we're headed up towards 360. If Tesla is able to get above 360, then it could head up towards the 370 level. But I guess one thing to be aware of here on Tesla, it does have a descending triangle pattern. That it looks like it did break to the downside. So if we just kind of map this out, this is a descending triangle. So this expected move from the opening here on the triangle actually sends us down towards 253. So if Tesla is to get a full measured move of this descending triangle, look for Tesla to hit this 253 level in the coming days to weeks. Actually, probably be more weeks than days. So maybe it will reach this 370 level, but it'll be like a back test, and then we'll fall back down. So that's where I'm looking for Tesla to head based on the bearish break to the downside out of that descending triangle pattern. Alright, let's move on to Coinbase. So Coinbase had an extremely bullish day, with this candle reaching all the way up towards 310. Man, I actually looked at this one around 8:15 this morning, or it might even been before 8 o'clock, and I was like, oh, should I buy it? Thinking, looking at the contracts, like, it's like $2,000 a contract. I don't know if I want to buy it. And I would have bought like within either one of these candles here, because it was still around, I think it was 288 when I saw it this morning. Then it ran up. I was thinking, oh, okay, well, it'll only go up to 293, so it's like $5. I don't know if I want to buy it for just a $5 run. So I ended up backing away from this one. But so it ran up to 293. We got that pullback, and then a huge, just bullish run after that up towards the 298 resistance level. And then, wait, so did we have earnings today, or is it? Yeah, and then I was noticing earnings was after hours today, so I was like, definitely not buying it now, because I didn't want to. That's why the contract was so expensive, is because of earnings. But looks like they didn't do very good. That's kind of a neutral. Well, surprise to the upside, 120% there. Revenue, 430 million. Pretty good. So we'll see if what I was noticing also is I had this trend line here. We did break above that trend line, so that is still bullish as long as we remain above this. So say this 293 level holds as support, then we can head back up towards 298 and then even back up to 310. Okay, let's move on to Snowflake. This one I did purchase towards the end of the day after we were breaking out of this price channel, and then we broke above the 189 level. So I've been talking about this one. It's got that cup and handle pattern, and now I'm thinking we'll head up towards 217, but that will take some time. I don't know how fast it'll get up to 217, but I do notice there's a big gap out here on the daily time frame. So I don't assume this gap will be filled in a day. So we'll probably attempt to try to fill it tomorrow, see how far we get. We got a couple gaps here. There's one here, this big one. So once I see the RSI pretty oversold on the 4-hour and or diverging, that's when I'll get out of this contract. Somewhere around that 595 level is at least what I'm looking forward to run up to. Oh yeah, because this little price channel that it's in, between this touch point, these touch points above, I did kind of map out the distance between the channel. And that's showing it should run up towards 195, so that's what I'll be looking for. Alright, let's go over our last one here on AFRM. So actually I did have that contract that I bought from earnings, or I bought a couple days before earnings, held it through, ended up finally selling it today around the $78 level, and that one was like an over 200% winner. So definitely a good call there. But so AFRM has support here at 73 bucks. As long as we remain above 73, we can expect AFRM to try to head up towards the $83 level. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for here. I would say if it drops below 73, though, we could head down towards 68. So alrighty guys, well, that was a video. So thanks for watching. High quality trades, don't forget to like and subscribe. I think I'm going to leave this one raw, real, and uncut. Thanks for watching guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.